I'm sorry, I don't quite understand. 我不理解. Quoi? Je ne comprends pas. يه بوتيو. لا أفهم. Same meaning. Equally polite. But a different language and a different way of seeing the world. But can we really understand each other when we only understand our words? When I was 10 years old, I started learning Chinese from my bedroom in the UK. I had one lesson a week. Vocabulary, grammar, translation. And I got quite good at it. Until I set foot in my new classroom in China. I was reduced to a toddler. I couldn't understand anything. Neither my classmates nor teachers. Barely any real conversations. In fact, on my first night, we went out for a hot pot party, a celebration. A few classmates were sat around a table. One jokingly teased another, calling him a mocking name. I didn't understand, so I nodded and I smiled, and everybody burst out laughing. They were teasing their friend relentlessly, and I sat there, nodding politely, pretending I understood. I was clearly miles off. I thought I knew all of the vocabulary that I needed, but I didn't understand the people. And that's when it clicked. Recognizing vocabulary from a language is not the same as understanding it. Because a language isn't just communication, it's history, it's culture, identity. There's a word in French, retrouvailles. It literally means reunion, seeing someone again after a long time apart. Not just the meeting itself, but the emotional weight of that moment. Which isn't just vocabulary, that's a culture, recognizing emotion in a direct, specific way. And the French language itself reflects that mindset, deeply expressive, emotional, and layered. Because the language doesn't just describe its culture, no, it embodies it. And it does even more than that. It shapes how we think. In Chinese, communication is often efficient, yet at the same time, deeply layered with respect, meaning, relationships, familial roles, hierarchy, and context. Take the English words, grandma and grandpa. Chinese has 4 separate words that can't be interchanged depending on which side of the family said relative comes from. 外婆, 外公, 奶奶, and 爷爷. And I also noticed something surprising. My personality itself was different in Chinese, which I thought was strange, or maybe just overthinking. But after speaking to a few more people, I found it to be really quite common. But what about you? How does your personality change in your second language? Because each language carries a different perspective and a different way of seeing the world. As of today, everything is changing. The whole world can be connected within an instant. Anything can be translated anywhere, at any time, with a touch of your fingertip. We see tools like translation software and generative AI evolving before our very eyes. They often leave us with rigid, unnatural emails and overly formal essays with peculiar punctuation. So if we can translate the words, does that mean that we can translate meaning and implicit interpretation? Because what I was missing in China wasn't vocabulary. It was nuance. It was tacit knowledge. It was understanding of how people really express themselves. Slang, idiom, emotion. Because language isn't just communication. It's a cultural echo that courses through our tongues. It served our ancestors for years before us, and it will continue to do so in the future. And yes, language does help us communicate, massively, in fact. We need to ask ourselves, coming into a future scenario where everything becomes faster, simpler, more easily translated, are we understanding words, or are we truly understanding the people behind them? Thank you for listening.